Hey everybody, Johnny Storm, don't speak. News you're not supposed to speak about. Well, from theguardian.com, world economy at risk of another financial crash, says IMF. Debt is above 2008 level, and failure to reform banking system could trigger crisis. Well, we should have probably done that back in 2008. Everything would be a lot better right now. But it's not, because they didn't do it. So the world economy is at risk of another financial meltdown following the failure of governments and regulators to push through all the reforms needed to protect the system from reckless behavior. Well, no doubt. And now that we're on the edge or the precipice of another big crash, now they tell us, right? Of course. It's just like, I was just reading some comments from the episode I did yesterday on the economy, the real numbers, and how retailers are dropping like flies, and that people's disposable incomes are way down, and consumer debt is way up. That's the only way people can afford to keep buying all this stuff, all this crap. So, and then to compound all that, the banks and the insurance companies and everybody that got us in trouble before, they've been playing the same games as they did last time, except even on an even bigger scale now, because now they figured, well, we might as well burn it all down. We've got nothing left to save it again. So here we go. Now, why is all this happening? Well, partly due to a dramatic rise in lending by the so-called shadow banks in China and the failure to impose tough restrictions on insurance companies and asset managers, which handle trillions of dollars of funds, are highlighted by the IMF as causes for concern. Now, the warning from the IMF Global Financial Stability Report echoes similar concerns that complacency among regulators and a backlash against international agreements, especially from Donald Trump's U.S. administration, has undermined efforts to prepare for another downturn. So, as predicted, they are going to, at least in part, use the tariffs that Trump is using as a reason for this global collapse that's coming. Now, the former UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown said last month that the world economy was sleepwalking into a future crisis, and risks for not being tackled now. We are in a leaderless world. Speaking this week before the fund's forthcoming annual meeting, taking place next week on the Indonesian island of Bali, the IMF's head, Christine Lagarde, said she was concerned that the total value of global debt in both the public and private sectors has skyrocketed by 60% in the decade since the financial crisis to reach an all-time high of $182 trillion. Trillion. We're 60% more in debt now than we were in 2008. So what's the definition of insanity? What did Einstein say? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? Something to that effect. So there you go. The real economic numbers, and now the IMF has just right out and said it. But, don't worry, you won't see it on mainstream media. It's still all about Kavanaugh, the Senate, and all that BS over there. So, doing my best to get to the news that matters. That's all for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, don't speak.